Okay, I hope this is recording now. Let's see.
Go to the top.
Looks like it is.
Okay.
So it is recording. So
Perfect.
let's see. Before I say yes, it's recording. I'll make sure. Yeah, okay, we're already 14 seconds in. So yes, welcome to Concussion Talk Podcast. This is Nick Mercer, and I'm here with Erica Norman and Jennifer Smith, and we were both on a podcast before, and we're going to chat about brain injury in general, what happened to us, and we're talking about the positive things we've learned, we've discovered, really not learned, but more discovered. But first, I guess I'll just thank HeadCheck Health, my sponsor. So, HeadCheck Health bridges gaps in concussion care through simple, powerful technology. Join organizations like the Canadian Football League, Track Factory Racing, the Canadian Junior Hockey League, Eastern Washington University, and Volleyball Canada. Rely on HeadCheck to improve communication and optimize care. Visit headcheckhealth.com for more. And that was really, really fast. But anyway, it's done now. So now Erica and Jennifer, and I'm going to sit close to you, Erica, if you don't mind.
Come on over.
I'm not in this shot as well.
Okay.
You got, for anyone else listening, we're doing so and get this on YouTube too, so I'm trying to get a good video. And yeah, so here we are. And yeah, so I guess we'll start off with this briefly. I guess we'll Jennifer, you can start. What happened to your, just quickly, your injury, because you've been on Talks before, but
Sure.
just last one actually.
So my name is Jennifer Smith, and so I was here a little while ago. But essentially, at 33 years old, I had a stroke in my cerebellum. We had just learned the term today. To pronounce it.
AVM.
No, it's ischemic.
Ischemic stroke is what I had from a undiagnosed whiplash, and that was about almost 5 years ago. And yeah, we can get into the details.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone, my name is Erica Norman. I also did a podcast with Nick before, so you can definitely get my full detailed story.
Actually, you did with Cassandra and.
Oh yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
I remember that. I watched that.
Yeah. So I also had a cerebellar stroke, but mine was a hemorrhagic stroke, so it was a bleed, and that was due to an AVM that ruptured. That was in 2017, so 5+ years ago now. Yeah.
And I wonder if this is still recording video-wise.
I think the screen just
The
may have gone black.
Yeah, the screen's not black.
Screen,
Lights, yeah, but it's making sure that the camera's working, but I guess I can't really tell until.
Yeah, it just might have.
But I'm Mick Mercer, and this is still recording, hopefully, but it is recording. I should say. I'm pretty sure it is. I messed up that thing. Let's see. I had my injury in 2003, so I'm been in this a lot longer than these two, but so I have so different angles, and I think I've been thinking a minute 25. I think that's about right.
25 years.
A minute 25, minute 30. Think that's about right.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the screen just might be going into
Yeah.
like sleep mode.
I'm just gonna do that. Just ignore it now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm in a cycling accident in Victoria, BC, and I was in a stroke in that coma. So yeah, the word in my brain now. Didn't have a stroke. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, and I got my brain injury from hitting the tree with my head, and then I was in back here. And so I was in Victoria, BC. I wasn't in St. John's, where we all are now, and. Yeah, and so that was my injury. So mine's just older than this two, but still brain injury.
Yeah.
And we still not the same issues, obviously, but Jennifer and Erica's are very similar. And yeah, we're just want to focus on, because I guess it was where I've been so long since my injury that I guess I've had time to really. You guys definitely seem to have moved on, accepted it, not moved on, but accepted your whatever challenges you may have, and I just think this new perspective has changed. Like there's so many of the people without having a brain injury or some traumatic event that really if it changes their perspective, that changing perspective is like having a new life. It's like having a second chance at not that things are going entirely wrong with me, but it wasn't. But I mean, it's great. Just such an advantage to see world from a new angle. It's just
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's the main thing I noticed.
For sure.
Have you guys noticed anything?
Oh, my perspective has completely changed. I mean, previously, prior to my stroke, I feel like I almost woke up every day with this envision that, like, you know, I'm gonna have this long, healthy life. I'm gonna live to an old age. I'm gonna go through like what most people go through, like whether that's marriage, have kids. Like I had this envision that like society has almost taught me to have. But after my stroke, I realized, wait now, not every day is guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say life can hit you at any moment, but it really can.
Yeah.
And like, so after my stroke, I kind of had that new perspective to be like, every day is precious, you know?
Yeah.
And I made a lot of life changes being like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm living my life to my fullest. I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm spending the time doing the things that I love with the people I love. You know, it really changed my perspective that like, you know, and although I want to live to be an old age, that may not happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Fair it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when it was Eric and I did yoga last summer a lot, and that was a lot of fun. Just and just going down to the lake to get eating, just having a good time, just loving, you know, loving life. Sounds so lame, but you know, basically that's what it is, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting that I really like admire that perspective, but I feel like the struggle that I've had for the last few years is just like, I'm not normal. And not like normal to other people, normal. That was a whole pill to swallow. but just normal to myself. So for a little while, I certainly lived this like, okay, I've got to like seize the day and enjoy like the moment and that like the life scare piece. But for some reason, like, I don't know if it's just like the circumstance in life, like, I have to get back to work in order, because like we're all in the same like age bracket where it's just like, well, I'm not in retirement age, I'm not
I think this one here may be younger.
No, she's certainly younger than us, but and you're absolutely right, she's definitely younger than us, but the like I was in my circumstance, I wasn't even a year married. Like it was like the life planning part of like your family, and like you're in the middle of your career, so you're just like, okay, how do I keep doing what I'm doing? And so for me, it was just like, how do I just go back to exactly how I was before?
Yeah, totally.
And that's not possible. And
it's
it
hard.
turns you into a little bit of a like, okay, you gotta just stop trying to do that.
Yeah. That was tough.
That was like something that was a little bit challenging, but I have to say this now. Our podcast from the last week that I participated was posted on my LinkedIn, and a lot of people at my work I actually was not, because I was trying to be acting like I was like who I was before. So like very few people in my professional career actually knew about these things. So it's easier for me to just and I think I was trying to protect it because it was like something I was worried about other people's perceptions of. And the response has been very surprisingly very warm and understanding, and so it's just, I think part of the pressure I was putting under myself to either be the person that's like seizing the day, or the person's just like, I'm exactly who I was before. It's just a little bit like, just relax. In having a group of people, they're just like, hey, we know this happened to you, and like, cool, let us know how we can help, and your capacity may not be the same, and you know, you don't need to be trying so hard to. So that was kind of like a huge, like it's been like weeks. It's literally been weeks, but it's been a huge breath.
It's amazing.
Yeah, like a relief.
Yeah,
absolutely. I get that too, though, because for a long time through like my stroke recovery, I noticed like people almost treated me a little bit different if they saw my deficits. long time I tried to hide them because I didn't want to be treated differently.
Yeah.
I wanted that get back to, you know, your normal life type of feeling. I want people to still treat me the same. So I kind of get what you mean, like holding it close.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, it was hard to talk about for those reasons. I was like, well, I don't want people to pity me, treat me with like any type of different manner, or like try to help me more when I, you know, I want to be able to do things myself, that type of thing. So I kind of held it close, and I didn't talk about it a lot with people I love or like the people around me, because I just wanted to feel like my life was my own again.
Yeah.
You know, and the more I've talked about it, you're right. Like you get a lot more warmth and positivity that, you know, people aren't going to treat you different, but they're there for you.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Like it is very relieving. So I recognize similar feelings. I don't know if you feel the same.
Well, I don't feel the same anymore. I do feel the same. Same general thing, but like I know actually I'm getting paranoid about this.
Do you want me to go take
thing,
a peek?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know your password though.
No,
but
oh yeah.
That's okay.
I actually named the password actually because
The
just
green light on the top
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
on.
I think
it
Oh,
is.
okay.
I know it's on, but it's apparently it's not working because it's not filming us. But either way, whatever. We'll just have a chat. If it's not working, it's not working.
We'll do it again if
Yeah,
it's
we'll
not
do it again.
working.
Yeah.
We have so much time.
Exactly. Like it's been so long since my injury that I just really, I don't have to. I never definitely remember feeling that way. Like I mean, went back to university and went back to and tried to swim. Remember first time I was swimming, I was just crying. I was like, "Oh, this would be great. I'll go swimming," because this was 5 months after my injury, 4 months, I forget.
Yeah.
4 or 5 months after my injury. So I was just learning it. I didn't know how to walk. I had to walk with like a few steps and I fall into something, and I had to use a walker or a cane, which is still walking, but I wasn't walking freely. And I was swimming, and I thought, someone said I can go swimming now. I was like, oh, this would be great. I'll swim great, and be like, oh wow, you're great, and I can leave. I was like, I figured that was gonna happen. Got into that, I could barely cross the half the pool, the news center width-wise. Not a good bed, like half that. I was like, this is like a week before less than a week before my injury. I swam 3K swim race in Victoria. So I was like, no, I did really well. So I'm like, so this will just show everybody that I'm fine. And I said, I get back, I got past like halfway, and it was like my arm was hopping, and I was like, couldn't breathe and stuff. I didn't know how to breathe. I knew how. Like I tried to, I couldn't get my head enough. And that was just, and because I've held on to that for like, held on to that when that happened. I was like, that was a blow.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I was still the same for the next 5 years at least. But,
Right.
I was still trying to be like, just I'm normal. I just had an injury, and like get a broken leg, I had a brain injury. It heals. It just takes long for the brain to heal.
It
And
does,
and I was like, that'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'm fine. I'm there. I'm normal like you. And then I've changed, and this is longer. This will be not permanent is a weird way to say it, but I mean, it is permanent. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I mean, just learning that it's great. It's like people, if you actually accept. It's you can't just tell people to do this. You're gonna grow into it, but if you just accept where the things are and how things are going, it just makes your life so much better. And just also realize that life is not what everyone says it should be. Like life is not like you're saying, like marriage and kids or blah blah, like stepwise, like career, blah blah blah, retirement. It's like life is just everything. Just being alive is like life is like there's just what we had discovered in the past 100 years that life is work, marriage, and kids and family, retirement at a reasonable age, and which is just a totally new thing. It's just like, so I mean, life changes. Life is just like you said that. Nothing
And
mattered.
you make a really good point about like that was a big challenge to accepting like what is a new normal for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I admire so much about you, Nick, and how much that even inspires me is that despite realizing you may not get to 100% again, you still put in the effort. So say you can still do something, and a lot of the things you love to a certain degree, maybe not the way you could before, but you still go after those things. And for a long time, I had a hard time accepting that in itself.
That's the toughest part.
And I realize sometimes you don't realize how much you love something until that ability is taken away from you. So I had a lot of almost previously negative energy around I can't do this anymore, I can't do that anymore, and I was just dragging myself down. But when I met you just kind of opened my mindset again, which was really nice. That take that energy and focus on what you still can do. I didn't realize how much. I didn't realize how much I love.
You do a lot. You do physio.
Yeah,
when
totally.
So.
And for me, the hardest pill to swallow was like, I was a dancer and I love to dance, but again, I really didn't realize how much I love to dance until my ability to dance was taken away. So when I met you last summer, I was like, I love that, Nick, like despite not being able to swim like you used to, you're still going out and swimming. So in the fall, I signed up for a ballet class. And although I'm only doing half the class, I'm still really grateful that I'm doing half the class, like I still
it's just as fun
focused.
as it was.
I took that, what was a negative energy before of like, I can't do it. But now I'm like putting that energy towards a positive way and doing what I can,
that's
right?
awesome.
And I find that perspective has really helped me in even just a short period of time, right?
I don't know ballet dancing at all. See, ballet, it's fun again.
It's challenging for sure.
I know. Like and there's also weird. It's like that. I'm looking up at you like I'm a little kid because I'm taller than you, but I just got this is where I sit and this right. So there you go. No, so loud. So certain. How I know. Lovely. I'm so guitar. I'll just have to stay here from now on.
But it's funny that you should say that because I think one of the things and again these are like new realizations for me because I think some of the times I just didn't realize what I now can't do because I don't think I had athletic aspect that was something that was driving me before. So I was doing a little bit of running room and things like that, but I don't know how to swim, so I'm learning how to swim now. So it's just sort of have those skills, right? Yeah. But to me, it's just embracing the messy and the chaos and that life does not need to follow any kind of path, and our disruptions in our world were kind of unique but similar. So we're talking about it, but everyone has these hurdles and disruptions to their plan. And it's just a matter of from a mental health perspective, the people you have or the resources you have to just help you manage that disruption.
Totally.
Because I really truly recognize the privilege I have in so many pieces of this puzzle, just in the lack of visible deficits, the family support, and a partner that's been through this whole journey with me. Because some people have these same kinds of issues or situations happen, and they don't have those things.
Totally.
So, I fully appreciate that piece, and so it's really just okay, things are not as they were, but embrace the new, embrace the messy, just don't look for perfection in this.
There's no perfection.
You're not going to be the next whatever in whatever category of things
whatever.
But you can enjoy whatever you're doing, right? So
totally.
In my case, I was told that I couldn't pass the medical to just the basic medical that one would need to be on boats, which is
which is
you want to go out on a vessel and do some research. I actually can't do that now because I don't have the medical to. So like it has affected my work in a way that I'm like, okay, well now I can't. There's a section of my work that I just can't do now.
Right.
And it's like this is similar to the swimming or because I'm
totally.
very work oriented like a fool, but
Absolutely,
so like
Well,
it's just like okay, that's cool. That can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
Yeah.
Let's find something else that we
You
might
can
enjoy.
do, absolutely. Or focus on the other things you can do for sure.
Absolutely, just spin it. Like,
Yeah.
And you're so right about the people. Like, I mean, like I never met like my buddy, I'd say Jason. Like, I didn't know him until I was injured, and he helped me when I was injured, like jumping around places and helped me get to. This is when I was like really. And I'm still not great now, but I was when I was really just starting off. And just his attitudes. I mean, it's kind of more carefree than it's definitely more carefree than I ever had. And just carefree may not be the right way to say it, but it's kind of like the way. I remember my dad when I was on for a walk. My dad, before he died in 20, he died in 2015, but say in 2014 we go for walks, and he'd say, how do you like not how I never like ever blame me, just out of wonders how do you stay how are you so positive and know all this crap happened to you, and I just further thought about like just about how just enjoy everything around you, just not doesn't mean settle for it.
Right.
It means they just
Yeah.
you appreciate more fully, and you
Totally, and it's still important to accept and understand that down days or down moments are still normal to have. But having that positive outlook is definitely the key to like kind of get through what you're getting through.
Yeah.
Because like, what is the negative energy? How is that serving you? Like, how is that helping you?
Yeah.
So it is easy to kind of get upset and have those days, but have them, accept them, and move on again. Like let's focus. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. What can I do to tomorrow to make it a better day than today? So it's still, I find, really important to accept those negative feelings at times and as a part of the journey, but they're not going to serve you long term.
No.
So you need to like kind of make that flip and be like, okay, how can I take this and have a little bit more of a positive outlook moving forward? Because the positivity is where you're going to gain that motivation to do things and appreciate what you do and what you can do.
Absolutely.
So, and I love that you touched on, because that is one thing that I love to communicate with people. You talk about like the visible and the invisible challenges and struggles. And one thing after my stroke that really changed with my personality in a positive way is understanding. I say this a lot, understanding what you don't understand. And that may be hard to kind of gather, but what I mean by that is, when I talk to people about their challenges, it's so hard to put into words what you're going through, or so when people talk to me about their challenges, even though I don't understand their challenge, I know it's really hard to like put that into words. So I've become a lot more empathetic following my stroke for other people's challenges and being like, I know you're struggling, but I appreciate that you're still moving forward with your life, and I want people to know that I'm there for them. Like, I get that I don't understand your struggle, but that's what I do understand. I understand that I've struggled, and I've had difficulty putting that into words, and I can only imagine, not for just brain injury, for all types of injuries, that people struggle in ways that they just can't put into words. So I've definitely become a more empathetic, more like, trying to bond and, become more caring with people who are struggling. And that's, I find, gained a lot of positivity in my life, because people then I find open up to me, and they, they want to, they
Yeah.
feel comfortable communicating with me, and I think
It
that's
also helps with your job as a
Yeah,
physio.
which-
It's just like
yeah,
it's good
absolutely,
to get people to be emotional
absolutely.
with you. So.
Yeah, totally. Being able to connect, and I think
Yeah.
I always say a huge part of being a really good physiotherapist is not the knowledge you know about being a physiotherapist. It's gaining that trusted relationship with somebody where they can trust you with their health,
Which
and that's made a huge
is
difference.
so important to me when I'm
Yeah.
in physio.
Yeah, knowing somebody
Yeah.
cares, that they, even though they may not understand, but they're trying to understand and they want to help you. They're not, that has made a huge difference in my practice. That's what made me, like a good physio to a great physio.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That actually, you were just saying this about like empathy and just not understanding people, but just being more empathetic and just trying to understand that with their struggles. Just totally not, I don't know, struggles, but like, so the times when this thing comes out, that I was saying, I saw somebody, just yesterday, but this is 10 days ago. If this comes out on the 7th, which I expect it will, because hopefully I have Mike Wall on first.
That's
Okay.
right,
cool.
yeah.
So clearly on Tuesday, if this comes out. This is now January 29th. So no, this is January 28th.
Okay.
He'll be come out on January 30th. Hopefully his podcast will be out. Anyway, that's just the point.
Mhm.
But yesterday I was walking back from swimming, and there's these, like St. John's, the snow was all melted, and there was there's across from the Mun there, it just walk straight down Elizabeth Avenue, and there's a big puddle like two or three sidewalks like things blocks wide, so I can't jump in anyway. But even if I could, I wouldn't necessarily make that unless you ran at it. But so
I like that.
again, I can't do. So I was like, I was gonna stop. I got to it, and I kind of stopped, and I slowed down a bit, and I head towards the side of the road, the curb, the sidewalk, very close to the road, and this woman, young lady, I think was. Now, if it was an older lady, then she'd appreciate this, but but if it was a man, I wouldn't at all. But
Oh goodness.
but anyway, this as I thought was a young lady stopped for me, and I stopped like in the middle, and like there was no love, just stop like as I just give me space to go around the big puddle. Just only took 2 seconds, but still like she stopped, like held her traffic behind her, and there was I don't know if it was a green light or red light ahead of her, but it was like still 100 meters ahead of her, 50 meters ahead of her, and she stopped and let me walk around. I thought that was just being like empathetic, just knowing that somebody's even though this is not brain related, but somebody just going through a puddle, just not going to get soaking wet, and maybe you could say that I was struggling walking, but still, it's just as I know, as far as I know.
Yeah, there
just
are definitely a lot of
normal people, it's a nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of the things that I just try to tell people, like, because treat people like people first, just like because it's so easy when you get in your own head about like all the things you have to do and like, oh, this is not working out, and like that to start out with like frustration or anger, but like it's just like everyone has something that they're dealing with, and it's nice to just default to being kind first, and then it's like, okay, we'll deal with the issues after we've just had this common moment of
being
human.
Totally. Yeah.
That's huge.
Definitely, and I wish I had more topics that I had run in mind, but I just like talking to you guys about everything. So just anything that you guys think is like, I don't know how long we talk for. If this would be, I'd like to do longer, but it'd be longer, more in the weeds about what we've discussed before. And this is not really the one to this podcast. So this podcast is just being positive. There's a lot of good things coming out of brain injury, and not out of brain injury, but out of like just a lot of good things in life, and this brain injury is part of it. So like I said before, like I said this when I was first out of brain injury, not first, but like a few years, More wisdom than I thought I had at the time, but when I look back on it, maybe I did. Maybe it was foreboding, not foreboding was the word. Anyway, look ahead towards what I'm thinking of now. That it's not part of everyone's life, but it's part of my life, and this is part of your brain injury, part of your life, and just like everyone's like, well, I've never went through that. It's part of life. It's part of not part of your life.
Yeah.
But I mean, you broke your legs. It's part of your life. I've never broken a leg, so it's part of my life.
Yeah.
And now I don't know if you guys said, but
Totally.
but you know, it's like that type of thing. Is just part of just enjoy the whole experience.
Yeah, totally. And that's the part that I meant about, like, you know, although we're talking about brain injuries between the three of us, and that's something that we understand.
Yeah.
But that was the part I meant, like, in the sense that like you're saying, somebody may have broken their legs, and their struggles and what they're going through may be actually very similar. It's just a different type of injury.
Yeah, hence like
you know?
Like that thing in basketball, like Greg Oden was like the biggest star in the NBA. And it's only a few years ago. I think like I'm gonna say 05, but I'm probably way wrong, probably later than that. But anyway, no, it's definitely later than that. But anyway, and he was like he was doing a huge sharp. He's like in like exhibition or whatever. He broke his leg and like really badly, and now he can't do that anymore. So like it's just like for him that's as bad as a brain almost. Like feels like not as bad. It's not the brain is bad, but like.
So to me, those kinds of things are the things that can put you in dark places.
Yeah,
It's the places where like you're like after a certain period of time, people just stop asking you maybe a little bit about how things are going, and so it comes back to I think we had mentioned this earlier about like the stories you're telling yourself or how you're spinning something negative into a positive, and you can very much write a story for each of us that's very tragic. And you can equally just say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna rewrite this story so that I'm like the person that's the phoenix out of the ashes kind of situation, and like carry on and just changing that like mindset.
Like the mindset is
totally.
But it's extremely hard to do.
So
like
important,
you have to
but
get to weird points in your life to be like, okay, I can do this. But it's I think that sets apart when you feel like you can't do something to when you're just like, okay, I'm gonna try, even if I can't do it, I'm just gonna try. And that's a huge realization that I think it takes a while to get to, and it really doesn't matter what has happened to you. But so I don't know how we go about helping people get to those realizations, but like that's one of the motivations I had behind reaching out to the Newfoundland Brain Injury Association. And to be quite honest, I'm a very introverted person, and meeting you, Nick, and Cassandra, and all the other people on the board, like Teresa and Cletus, like I feel like it's a butterfly moment for me, because it's just like, okay, there's people that understand like the fundamentals, and they're supportive, and they understand what you can and can't do, and they're totally cool with it. It's a very like very cool environment to step into.
It's so weird,
it's
like
comforting in a way. Like it's like these people get it. Like they get. I don't have to explain it, or you know, I don't have to come up with
find that too with the
totally.
And
that's the other thing. Like in life too, I get to so many points where I'm like, do I swallow this, or do I take the time to explain it and put it into perspective for people? And so that's something I feel like
that's
I'll forever struggle with.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's deciding.
It's still a trick for me.
Right.
It's like, which I really frankly just go a lot to so much. Just like, okay, it's fine.
So like, cause we imagine it would start to get somewhat exhausting.
Exactly.
My patience is not super. I'm here like, be kind to everyone. I'm like, oh dear, I have like patience of nothing.
I find like I've learned that like, okay, say it's my partner and he doesn't understand something. I find I'll definitely put the time and energy into sitting down and explaining, because he's in my daily life.
You want him to know what you're doing.
So I need to put that time and energy in for him to understand and to communicate it in a way. But even communicating it can be so hard. I find myself grasping at some sort of like analogy that is relatable to his life, or someone else's life for them to try to understand, and even then it becomes really hard for them to get it. But it's exhausting to try to like come up with these creative ways to get people to understand, and then you decide, okay, I've met this person for the first time, maybe I'm never going to meet them again. Do I really put in that energy for them to understand? Because that can get frustrating every day, because it's almost an everyday occurrence, where you're making that decision,
You're like, am I oversharing right now? Do they really need to know all these things? It's like, oh dear. And it's like, well, maybe they're curiously interested, and I should.
Maybe I should raise awareness.
It's so hard to decide, like, should I raise the awareness and try to help people understand, or then your life if that's the case, then your life just becomes about that, because you can explain things to every person.
Exactly. You never leave the never leave the change room, or like the vestibule, whatever.
Totally. But I do think it's really important to take that effort to communicate with the people who are in your everyday life. Yeah. Because otherwise it can snowball into like anger, frustration, that this person doesn't understand, and this is what I'm going through, and you can live with that anger and frustration. So I think it's really important to kind of let that out with the people who are so close to you, to allow them to try to understand, because I think that just it relieves a lot of anger and frustration. Be like, okay, even if my conversation today they didn't grasp, maybe the one tomorrow or the next day, one of them are going to click eventually.
Absolutely. Part of it is you don't know yourself sometimes what it is. It takes a while for you to figure out, like, why am I being the way I am? I don't understand. Like, it's like, okay, wait, now it's gonna take me a couple weeks to figure this out, and then I'm like, okay, how do I communicate this, and who do I communicate this to?
Totally.
And the other piece of it is, this is why I really appreciate the podcast, is that we all are navigating this.
I hope it's recording.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're all navigating this in our own.
If it's not recording, then we're just.
The green light's on.
The green light's on.
We're
all kind of navigating this path our own different ways. But like, there are people, and this is unfortunate to say, but that will join our community.
Yeah.
And they will have to unfortunately go through that same discovery if there isn't more vocalization about what this is going to maybe look like. Because like our stories are so similar that it's just like, hey man, that would have been like just some of the how you overcame these things would be helpful.
Totally.
Or how like you communicate with your family and your partners and all the people in your world. Like, do you know what I mean? Because like, there's no rule book, obviously, but just knowing that there's people in that community that can empathize, or even just be, hey, I had something similar, this is how I approached it, maybe you could give it a try, just to help through the like the chaos, the messy, the darkness, right?
I don't know, like my biggest tip is just like, it's like, just live your life, just do, you're gonna say be you again, it's been used before, but basically like you're saying also like that, who you have around, as I mentioned before, like who you have around you, like surround yourself with good people, which is important. But some people can't go like, no one understands, and like, but it is, and as much as it's great to have people around you, because they're very supportive. But like, it is up to you to do something and just approach it, not necessarily in like no understanding and like this is an awful situation, but it's only awful if you think of like. Awful is it's always like subjective, like as in like this is a kind of cultural thing. Like we said, this is like brain injury is bad. Brain injury isn't bad. Brain injury is the effects may be not what you like for doing what you're doing now, but exactly before, like life is just there's no rules to it. There's no form to it. So just it's been maybe bad for that aspect, but for anything else you want to do is could be.
I think a big thing for me was actually coming to a point where I let go expecting people to understand. Yeah. I've now accepted that people do not understand, and that's okay.
Yeah. You don't understand everything either. Like,
no, exactly. And that's what I mean, like coming to the point where like, okay, I'm gonna help the people in my life understand, who are in my life every day, because that's important for my own emotions and like
Yeah.
how I don't want to build up that anger. But like I've let go expecting a lot of like, you know, the general public understanding. I don't expect them to understand. I'm not angry that they don't understand. They haven't been through what we've been through. Yes, maybe they understand in a way that they've struggled with other things.
Yeah. Or they've read something about brain injury.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Or they know somebody, so that they may have somewhat of an understanding. But yeah, I've given up expecting people to understand
I like that.
what. Yeah, and I think that's kind of helped a lot.
Yeah.
You know, when I get to that point where like, you know, I feel that frustration building inside, I stop and I ask myself, Erica, why am I expecting this person to understand? They haven't been through this.
Yeah.
So then I have a choice. And that's what I'd like to bring it down to. It's my choice to decide, do I swallow this or do I help this person understand?
Yeah.
And sometimes I swallow it depending on the situation, and sometimes, like I said, with people who are really close to me, I do sit down and I have a healthy conversation about I need to try to help you understand my situation for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
It's really neat.
It's just exciting. Like,
Yeah.
thing like we don't listen to a lot of. We'll listen, watch, read. Sam Harris, there's like free will and stuff. So you said you have a choice. So I was like thinking, oh yeah, you have a choice, but it's free will.
Yeah.
You have a choice. Yeah, right, choice.
For sure.
But like that type of stuff is just beside the one big.
But that's huge though, because I feel like again, the professional community that now knows of my circumstance, like I feel like I was very much going around like no one gets this. They just and you know you can just get yourself in such a cantankerous mood.
Yeah,
totally.
But like I truly appreciate the perspective you're bringing. It's like you have a choice. There's a choice here.
Right.
And that's big. That's
I
really
think
big.
we always have a choice in what we can and cannot control, and you know, you can just make that decision, like whether you want to put that energy towards helping this person understand. And if that person gives you the type of response that they want to understand, then I think, you know, I would love to help you understand.
Yeah.
But if somebody just, you know, isn't interested, I'm not going to put that energy into that person trying to understand. They're not interested, but I don't expect them to understand.
Yeah.
And I've given up on that. So I think that's made a huge difference in my life.
I'm definitely gonna take that as a lesson to go home with.
Okay, well, I think this is this conversation is awesome. So I definitely want to do this again, but it is 12:05.
Okay.
So I know you.
We have so much more to talk about.
I know we have so much. This is barely started. Very short service, and so so I know we all have to kind of get going now. But again, hopefully do this again soon, because this is just an amazing conversation. And I'm hoping that this is actually recording, so I'm going to check it now. So if you're looking at the screen, you'll see me walk over to the screen. If it is working, if not, then this is a lot of fun. So thank you. And I don't even know if this is going to work now.
I think it will.
I know you guys are
my
all.
choice in this is positivity, and it's totally going to work.
Yes,
I bet something.
Stay positive. I see the green light on, so I'm.
The green light I think is a red herring.
Is it red herring?
I think so. Let's see. No, it looks like it's 43. So so it has recorded.
Excellent.
So I think
that's great.
so around.
Positivity works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for really seeing some of my face. It's great. Well, where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Now I will stop it.